You're watching Celeb Creativity, your destination for exclusive celebrity breakdowns, reality TV controversies, and the stories that keep the internet buzzing. Today's story involves Melody Shari Martell Holt, and a name that could bring old drama back into the spotlight. What happens when one name from the past has the power to completely change the future of a reality show? For years, the drama surrounding Melody Shari Martell Holt and Arionne Curry has remained one of the most talked about storylines connected to love and marriage, Huntsville. But now, fans are asking a question that could shake up the entire show. Could Arionne Curry really be making a return? And if she does, is it simply about bringing back a familiar face? Or could it be a calculated move to reignite one of the biggest controversies the series has ever seen? Melody Shari has become one of the most recognized and supported figures from the franchise, with many viewers following her journey beyond the drama. Meanwhile, Martell Holt's past decisions continue to be discussed by fans who have watched the ups and downs of his story unfold. Now, with rumors and speculation spreading online, viewers are questioning what role Carlos King could play in the next chapter of this ongoing storyline. Because if Arionne returns, the conversation won't only be about the past, it will be about loyalty, accountability, reputation, and whether reality television ever truly lets old conflicts stay buried. And the biggest question is, would this move bring a fresh storyline or reopen a chapter fans thought was already closed? The world of reality television is built on unforgettable moments, complicated relationships, and storylines that keep viewers coming back season after season. But sometimes, a single person returning to the spotlight can completely change the energy of a show. That is exactly why fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, are paying close attention to the ongoing conversations surrounding Arionne Curry and the possibility of her appearing again within the franchise. Now, it is important to understand one thing clearly. There has been no confirmed announcement that Arionne Curry is officially returning to the show. At this point, much of the conversation is being driven by fan speculation, online discussions, and viewers connecting possible clues from past events. But even the possibility of her return has created a massive reaction. Why? Because Arionne's name is connected to one of the most controversial chapters in Martell Holt and Melody Shari's story. For many viewers, the history between Melody and Martell was not just another reality TV storyline. It became a deeply emotional journey involving marriage, trust, family, public image, and personal growth. Martell and Melody were once viewed as one of the central couples of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Their relationship was part of the foundation of the series. Fans watched them build businesses, raise their family, and present what appeared to be a strong partnership. But as viewers later saw, their relationship went through major challenges, and those challenges became some of the most discussed moments in the show's history. Now, the idea of bringing Arionne back into that world raises many questions. Would her presence create a new storyline? Would it revisit old conflicts? Or would it simply give fans another perspective on a chapter that has already been heavily debated? These are the questions viewers are asking. And behind all of this is another major factor: Carlos King. As the creator and executive producer associated with Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Carlos King has developed a reputation for creating reality television moments that spark conversation. His shows often focus on relationships, personal conflicts, and the complicated realities behind public images. Because of that, some fans believe that if Arionne were ever brought back, it would not happen randomly. They believe there would be a bigger reason behind the decision. Whether that reason is increased audience interest, unfinished conversations, or simply creating a new chapter for the franchise, fans are analyzing every possibility. But to understand why this potential return has created so much attention, we have to go back to where the story started. Before fans were debating a possible comeback, there was already years of history behind these names. Melody Shari became one of the most recognizable personalities from Love and Marriage, Huntsville. From the beginning, viewers connected with her confidence, ambition, and willingness to share parts of her personal life. Her journey was not only about her marriage, it was also about her identity outside of a relationship. As the seasons continued, viewers watched Melody and Martell's relationship face serious challenges. Their marriage became a major topic of discussion among fans, especially as issues surrounding trust and commitment became part of the public conversation. Martell Holt also became one of the most talked about figures on the show. Some viewers appreciated his personality, confidence, and business mindset. Others criticized decisions they felt impacted his personal relationships and public image. This created a divide among the audience. Some fans focused on Martell's perspective and believed there were multiple sides to the story. Other viewers strongly supported Melody and felt her journey represented resilience after difficult experiences. Then came Arionne Curry's connection to the storyline. Her name became closely associated with the breakdown of Melody and Martell's marriage, making her one of the most controversial figures connected to the situation. For viewers who followed the show, Arionne represented a major turning point in the storyline. However, outside of what has been publicly discussed and shown, there are many details that remain personal and private. Reality television often gives viewers a window into people's lives, but it does not always show every part of the story. That is why conversations around reality TV require separating what has been confirmed from what fans believe. What is confirmed is that the storyline created a major impact on the franchise. What is also clear is that fans continue to discuss the situation years later. And that continued interest is exactly why a possible return creates so much attention. Because in reality television, history matters. Old storylines can become new storylines. Past relationships can become future conversations. And unresolved emotions often create the biggest audience reactions. This is why many viewers believe that bringing Arionne back, if it ever happens, would immediately become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the show. But the bigger question is not just whether Arionne returns. The bigger question is, why would viewers react so strongly if she did? And the answer goes deeper than just one relationship. It connects to loyalty, public perception, and the way fans choose sides in reality television. To understand why the possibility of Arionne Curry returning creates such a strong reaction, you have to understand how reality television works. A reality show is not only built around what happens on camera, it is built around the emotions that viewers attach to those moments. For many fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the story between Melody Shari and Martell Holt became bigger than a simple relationship issue. It became a conversation about trust, choices, consequences, and how people rebuild their lives after difficult situations. That is why the idea of bringing someone connected to that chapter back into the spotlight immediately creates debate. Some viewers see a possible return as an opportunity to explore another perspective. They believe reality television works best when different sides of a story are allowed to be shown. From this point of view, bringing back someone connected to a major storyline could create a more complete picture and give viewers new conversations to discuss. But other fans see it differently. For them, the concern is that revisiting old drama could feel like repeating a chapter that many viewers believe has already played out. They question whether bringing back a controversial figure would move the show forward or simply reopen old conflicts. And this is where the role of producers becomes a major topic. Reality television producers are constantly trying to balance two things: keeping a show fresh while also giving viewers the moments they care about. The biggest storylines in reality TV are often the ones that create strong emotions. Love, betrayal, friendship changes, family disagreements, and unexpected returns are the moments that usually create the biggest conversations online. Because of that, some fans believe a possible Arionne return would naturally attract attention, not necessarily because of the person alone, but because of the history attached to the situation. A familiar face connected to a major storyline can instantly bring viewers back into old conversations. It can create new questions. It can create debates. And it can create a completely different atmosphere within the cast. However, another important part of this conversation is Melody Shari's evolution. Over the years, many fans have watched Melody transform from someone known primarily through her marriage storyline into someone with her own identity, career, and audience. This is one reason many viewers are protective of her journey. They feel that Melody's story has moved into a different chapter, and they do not want her progress reduced to past conflicts. For some fans, the focus should remain on Melody's growth, achievements, and future, rather than returning repeatedly to old situations. This creates an interesting dynamic, because on one side, there is audience curiosity. People want answers. People want to understand what really happened. People want to see how different personalities interact. But on the other side, there is audience fatigue. Some viewers feel that certain storylines have already received enough attention and that reality shows should allow people to move forward. And this conflict between curiosity and closure is exactly what makes this situation so interesting. Whenever reality TV drama reaches the internet, fans become part of the conversation. Social media has completely changed the way audiences experience shows. Years ago, viewers would watch an episode and discuss it with friends. Now, every scene can create thousands of reactions, theories, and debates within minutes. That is exactly what has happened with the conversation around Arionne Curry. Across online discussions, fans have shared very different opinions. Some viewers believe that bringing Arionne back would create the type of dramatic television that keeps audiences interested. They argue that if a person was connected to an important part of the show's history, then their return could create meaningful conversations. They believe viewers should be able to hear different perspectives and see how everyone has changed over time. Other fans strongly disagree. They feel that the franchise should focus on new stories instead of revisiting past controversies. For these viewers, Melody Shari's journey has already shown growth beyond the situation, and they believe continuing to connect her story to Martell and Arionne takes attention away from everything else she has accomplished. Then there are fans who simply want clarity. They are not necessarily supporting one person over another. Instead, they want transparency. They want to understand what happened behind the scenes, how relationships changed, and what the current reality is between the people involved. This is one reason why the storyline remains interesting. Different groups of viewers are watching for different reasons. Some are watching for entertainment. Some are watching because they have followed the cast for years. And some are watching because they are interested in how people handle public pressure and personal challenges. But one thing is clear. The audience is emotionally invested. And when viewers become emotionally invested, every possible casting decision becomes a major conversation. The discussion surrounding Arionne Curry's possible return is about more than just one reality show. It reflects a much bigger conversation about fame, reputation, and how people are remembered after public controversies. In today's world, public figures do not only have to deal with what happens in their personal lives, they also have to deal with how those moments are interpreted by millions of people online. Reality television makes this even more complicated. A person's actions can become part of their public identity. A relationship issue can become a storyline. A personal disagreement can become a headline. And years later, those moments can still influence how audiences view someone. For Melody Shari, this conversation highlights the challenge many reality stars face. How do you continue building your future while audiences continue discussing your past? For Martell Holt, it raises questions about public image and accountability. When someone becomes known for a controversial storyline, can they change the public perception? Can viewers separate a person from their past mistakes? And for Arionne Curry, any return to the spotlight would naturally bring attention because of the history connected to her name. This is the complicated reality of reality television. Sometimes the same moments that create controversy are also the moments that make a show unforgettable. The drama that viewers criticize is often the same drama that keeps them watching. And producers understand that emotional connection is what drives engagement. But there is also a risk. When shows rely too heavily on past conflicts, audiences can begin to feel like they are watching the same story again and again. The challenge is finding the balance between nostalgia and growth, between revisiting history and creating something new. And that is the decision facing Love and Marriage, Huntsville, if these rumors continue to gain attention. Because the question is not simply, would Arionne Curry return? The bigger question is, if she returns, what story would the show actually tell? At the end of the day, the conversation surrounding Melody Shari, Martell Holt, and Arionne Curry shows just how powerful reality television storylines can become. What started as a personal situation between individuals turned into one of the most discussed topics connected to love and marriage, Huntsville. Years later, fans are still analyzing the choices, the relationships, and the possible future of everyone involved. The biggest question right now is not just whether Arionne Curry could return. The bigger question is what that return would mean. Would it bring a new perspective to the story? Would it create another wave of controversy? Or would it simply remind viewers of a chapter that changed the direction of the entire franchise? At this point, nothing has been officially confirmed, but the reaction alone proves that audiences are still deeply invested in these personalities and their journeys. Reality television has always been about more than what happens on camera. It is about emotions, connections, opinions, and the conversations that continue long after an episode ends. And that is exactly why this situation has so many people talking. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think bringing Arionne Curry back to Love and Marriage, Huntsville, would be a good move for the show? Would you want to see that chapter revisited? Or do you think the franchise should focus on completely new storylines? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your opinion could become part of the next conversation. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button because it helps the channel reach more fans who love reality TV discussions. Don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity news, reality TV drama, and deep story analysis. And turn on your notifications so you never miss the next update. Because when it comes to reality television, the cameras may stop rolling, but the conversation never really ends.